What's up everyone, it's your girl Lily and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing a story time with you guys, and it's going to be the story about New York, and it's going to be specifically about how I had some drinks with a couple of Moulin Rouge cast members. So this story is very chaotic, it's very wild, and I still cannot process it. I don't think I'll ever be able to process it. It was all super shocking and just, again, super chaotic and wild. I'm sorry if it's all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out how to tell the story in a really good and condensed way. It's a lot to take in, and I'm going to try my best to make it super clear for you guys. So hopefully you can follow along and see how I made it happen. So we're gonna start this story in May. My friend and I decided to go to New York to rush SNL tickets, but the writer's strike happened literally that week. We decided to go to Moulin Rouge. My friend had not seen it live yet, and I saw it live in 2019. So it's been years since I've seen the show, and I was super excited to see it again. So we got super cheap mezzanine seats, and we absolutely loved the show so much. I definitely have been in a big Moulin Rouge phase ever since then. It was like a repeat of 2019 where I just want to see the show over and over and over again. And of course I became obsessed with the cast. So when I got home, I decided to send fan mail to some of my favorite cast members, which you can watch me send fan mail to DARY. I'll link it in the description below so you guys can watch it after this video. I also sent fan mail to Dylan Paul, who is an understudy and swing in the show. So basically his job is that he goes in for certain roles. We call them tracks, so he goes in for certain tracks whenever those principal cast members are out on sick leave, or if they're on vacation, or if they're injured, or if they're just out of the show for whatever reason. So he covers Christian, the Duke, Ziedler in 2 ensemble tracks, and my friend and I in May saw him as the Duke. I absolutely loved his Duke, and I'm literally not being biased at all. I have seen 4 Dukes thus far, and he is literally my favorite Duke. The Duke in the musical is always supposed to be charming and smooth, and he's supposed to kind of make you look at him and be like, okay, he's not really a bad option. Like, obviously we all choose Christian because Christian's intentions, his personality, his actions are perfect, whereas the Duke, his intentions, his actions, and his personality are just not good. Major red flag. But the Duke does have this charm to him, and with Dylan, he takes that charm a little further, and he's very funny. He makes the character a little bit more animated, he makes the character a little bit more layered, and he comes across as funny and exaggerated and unhinged, and there's something about that that I absolutely loved.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And so I decided to write fan mail to him, but I was like, I don't know if he responds back because he's a swing, so he might not be in the theater all the time. I kind of asked around, and I went to like a Facebook group, and I was like, hey, does anybody know if Dylan Paul from Moulin Rouge responds to fan mail? And people were giving me mixed responses. They were like, yeah, I sent something, never heard back. And then somebody said, oh yeah, I've heard from multiple people that he does respond back, so definitely try. And I'm like, okay, cool, that helps a lot. And so then I went to Twitter and I was just like, hey, does anybody know if Dylan responds to fan mail? And a lot of people were saying, just DM him and ask him. I was like, all right, because I had seen him respond to DMs before, so I was like, okay, like I'll try it. And so I just sent him a DM, and I was just like, hey, do you respond to fan mail by any chance? And I was like, okay, well, that's going to be in his request box, much like the stage door, where the stage door is kind of the cherry on top. You have to remember that the actor's job is to perform. So stage dooring, not a part of their job, and neither is fan mail. It's nice when they respond back. It's nice when they come out to meet you, but it's never required for them, and it shouldn't be expected from any fan because, again, their job is to perform in the show 8 times a week. So I decided to send the fan mail anyway because I'm like, worst case scenario, he doesn't respond back, but he does get my letter and he gets a little bit of appreciation from someone for his swing and for an understudy because he's not on all the time. It's probably really nice and heartwarming to get these fan mail letters and to actually know that somebody's there appreciating his work. So I decided to send the fan mail anyway, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. 5 days later, I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking it's noon, and usually at noon I'm like, okay, I actually do have to get out of bed. I roll over, I check the time on my phone and it says 10:30, and I'm like, okay, I could go to bed for another 30 to 45 minutes, easy. I saw just like this abnormal number of Instagram notifications in my lock screen, and I'm like, well, did one of my friends just spam me Instagram reels in the night? Like, I don't know what this is. And I checked, and Dylan messaged me 5 times and then followed me, and I was just like, oh my god. I was freaking out. I was so excited. I literally thought I was dreaming because I had just woken up. So I was like, am I still asleep or is this real? And it was real. And I jumped out of bed. I started screaming. My mom was like, what's happening? And I tried to explain to my mom, but she didn't really understand anything, which is fine. But I was just super excited. I started texting all of my friends and everybody's like, oh my god. His messages in like 5 different paragraphs were like, I'm really bad at responding to fan mail and I'm trying to get better at it. I definitely have something from you and I'm planning on responding back. And then at the end of his DMs, he said, I'll send money with it as an apology for being bad at responding to fan mail. And I was like, is he for real? He ended up sending Duke money, which is prop money from the show. I messaged him back a little bit of a trade or a little bit of an offer. I was just like, so here's the deal. I'm gonna be in the city from July 29th to the 31st. I'm seeing Derek Lena's last show on the 30th. And I was just wondering if you wanted to maybe chat while I'm in the city. This can be in exchange for the money offer that you're giving me. And he kind of soft agreed to it. So I was like, okay, cool. And it was about 3 weeks out, so I wasn't like super concerned. I think it was maybe the last week to week and a half up until I was gonna go to the city where I started to kind of become a little bit more persistent. I wasn't annoying with it. I hope I wasn't annoying with it. I just kept kind of reminding him like, hey, I'm gonna be in the city. We'd love to grab drinks with you if you're up for it. And he kept kind of slowly soft agreeing to it. So I was like, okay. So then Friday before the Saturday that my friend and I were gonna leave for the city, I decided just to send him one last message and be like, hey, so my friend and I are gonna be in the city this weekend. We'd really love to sit down and chat with you. My friend and I were thinking of going to this bar on Saturday night, and we were wondering if you wanted to come along, and if you do, I'll make a reservation super quickly. I was like, okay, so worst case scenario, if he doesn't respond, we'll just go to the stage door on Saturday afternoon, and when we drop off gifts for people, we'll just try to arrange something there. And that was definitely like my last resort. I did not want to do that. Absolutely did not want to do that. But if we had to do it, I would do it. That was when the next morning, Saturday morning, my friend was ringing my doorbell relentlessly, woke me up, our flight was canceled. And underneath like all of the 10 text messages and the missed calls that I got, Dylan actually responded to my message, and he said that he was free for Saturday, but he also had another commitment, so he was only free for 1 drink. I was asking for Saturday because I didn't exactly know what the schedule was. It was a lot of cast members' last show on Sunday, and I was like, well, Sunday might be kind of like the party because their day off is on Monday. And so I sent a message back and I was just like, yeah, so tonight works for us, but we're also not really that busy on Sunday after the show. So if that works better for you, then we'd rather do Sunday. And if not, then we can always do tonight. We eventually booked a flight. We got in the city, ordered drinks, whole thing happened. And then Dylan's messaging me back and forth the whole entire day. We actually did figure out that Sunday was gonna work better for us. So we decided on Sunday after the show for drinks. And then I actually met him at the stage door because I had a gift for him. Kept it really brief, just kind of making sure everything was perfect, ready to go. Everybody was down to get drinks. I was just like, where do you want to go? Like, do you want to make the reservation for a bar that you would recommend or a bar that you really like, or should I make the reservation? And he was like, yeah, I'll go wherever you want. So, you know, I'm down for anything. I was like, awesome, cool. Like, I'll send you a DM, I'll send you the deets, and I'll see you tomorrow. I will admit that I teared up a little bit after that interaction. And then Sunday morning, I just sent a message to confirm that everything was still cool for after the show. So I was getting ready for the show. And I was doing my eyeliner and I checked my phone and Dylan said, yeah, like I'm still down. And I was like, cool. I got super excited, messed up my eyeliner. So then I had to do my eye makeup again. And then we went to the show, cried my eyes out, stage door for about an hour and a half because Derek was taking his sweet old time at the stage door. It was so funny because Dylan's like messaging me about drinks while I'm in the theater and then also while I'm at the stage door. And it was really funny because these two girls were actually talking about Dylan. And then somebody else next to me was just like, yeah, he still needs to respond in my DM about performance dates. Meanwhile, I'm looking at my phone and he's messaging me about drinks. So I'm just like, I feel really special. After stage dooring, my friend and I got pizza. I was really hungry. I was like, yeah, it's probably best if I eat food before this. So I just seen Derek last show as Christian in Moulin Rouge. And on the way to the bar, I run into Casey Cott, who was literally playing Christian like that next day. And I was like, oh my God, Casey, congratulations on Christian. He's like, thank you. So that was super wild. I mean, of all people to run into after I see somebody's last show, I run into the person who's like assuming the role. And with the way the trip was going anyway, I'm like, yes, of course that happens. Like, I'm not surprised. So we walk into the bar and I go to the bathroom and then I come back and Dylan's not there yet. He told me he was gonna be a little bit late anyway. I had put my lipstick and a piece of gum in my purse and I couldn't find it on the way there. And so I literally emptied out my entire purse all on the table in front of me. And I found my lipstick, I found my piece of gum, and I put everything back and then I shoved my purse behind me. And I was like, perfect, we're all good, we're on order. And then Dylan walks in and then he brought a friend along. Her name is Olivia Cece and she's also a dancer in the show. She's a vacation swing. I think I actually saw her in May when I saw Dylan as a Duke, so that was kind of cool. And we just had a really good time talking to each other. If any of you are like Broadway fans and you've stage doored before, there's obviously a physical barrier there, just for the safety of the actors. But there's also kind of a mental barrier. You feel kind of rushed, so you're just kind of like, at least my default is, oh my God, you were so amazing, can we get a picture? And that's literally it, and then I just let them go. And a part of it is just because you're, first of all, very nervous, you're very starstruck. Second of all, you don't want to take a lot of their time. They just performed in a 3-hour show. They probably want to get home, get food, hang out with their friends or their significant others or their pets or their kids if they have kids. You know, you don't really want to disturb their actual life. Like, it's a treat for them to come out and meet everyone, but at the same time, you don't want to waste their time by just having a 20-minute conversation with them. And so when I was at the bar, it was really nice because obviously that physical barrier isn't there, but that mental barrier isn't there too. No one's like in a super big rush. So it was really nice just to sit down and talk with these two people who are on Broadway, but just also talk and have a conversation like normal people. You know, we had conversations about life, about theater, about the show, about shows that we love other than Moulin Rouge, and about dance, and it was just so much fun. There were several moments that stood out to me, but my two favorite moments is one when my friend and Liv were talking about Zac Efron, and then Dylan and I were talking about theater, and we were both having very deep conversations about Zac Efron and or theater. And then Dylan goes, are you guys talking about theater? And then my friend goes, oh no, we're talking about Zac Efron. And I was just like, where did you guys get there? We were talking about our favorite shows other than Moulin Rouge, and one of my favorite shows other than Moulin Rouge is Hadestown, but my friend really likes SpongeBob the Musical, which obviously has gotten a lot of attention since the Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande scandal. And I was talking about how I was singing an Ariana Grande song at karaoke night, and Dylan, without hesitation, was just like, and then SpongeBob walked in, and I was like, I deserve that, but also really, man, like really, bro. So it was really fun. I learned so much about myself. I learned that I can be really bold. I FaceTimed one of my friends after everything happened and when I got home, and he was just like, that was really bold of you, actually. Like, that was really ambitious of you. And I was just like, you know what, the opportunity came up and I decided to take it. You know, a lot of my friends were just like, what's the worst you can say? The worst you can say is no. But then one of my friends told me that if you don't try, the answer is always going to be no. And that really stuck with me, because I was just like, okay, like, if I don't take this chance, if I don't at least try to ask, it's never gonna happen. So that's your calling, to be bold, take chances, because you never know what's gonna happen. So that concludes the story. I'm definitely gonna have to do another one of these story times for the entire trip, because the entire trip was a trip in itself. But if you like this one, please give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you're updated every single time I upload a video. Comment down below video ideas and follow me on social media. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.